guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica. Thank you so much for clicking today's link to watch today's video. Without further ado, let's get started with today's video. It's been quite a bit since I've actually sat down, filmed, put my makeup on, have my hair done, look appropriately. Thank you guys again for being so patient. We're gonna jump straight into this. So I can't believe this past Monday, I believe, or whatever day it was, it's past the date. But on August 1st, I turned 5 years in the Air Force, and I just kind of wanted to share a very short video on kind of recapping my 5 years and what I've learned so far. So when I came in, I was definitely very, very green, as they say. You know, I thought if I could describe my first kind of supervisory role, it would probably be Sour Patch Kids. Like, you know how they cut your hair and then they hug you? That's kind of how I would describe my first ever flight. It was just a lot of learning experiences, a lot of drama. I wasn't the happiest just being in Montana, to be honest. It was just so rough, but I did so much in Montana. So my first couple years as a second lieutenant, I think the biggest thing that I took away was you have to be, when you're a leader, sometimes it can be very lonely at the top. It can be very demanding, but it's worth it. It's worth putting in all the sweat, the tears, and the drama to just keep that resilience, keep that consistency, and just keep learning. I went into it just trying to learn everything that I could, but I also didn't allow people to treat me differently, as in negatively, because that's the thing. When you're a second lieutenant who's black and a female, and you're younger, like 10 years younger than everyone, they know it, you know it, and it creates sometimes an unpleasant experience. And for me, it was quite unpleasant. I can speak openly about that now. It feels good to say that. But they taught me so much. I learned how to lead properly. I learned mistakes that I did. I learned how to discipline when needed to, and not be, you know, as a black woman, a lot of times subconsciously and consciously we think, okay, don't be too hard because you don't want to be labeled as aggressive. Kind of be, you know, nice. And I'm naturally very nice and bubbly and friendly, but when it comes down to business, I mean business. And I think a lot of people took that for granted. And so when it came down to business, I learned that, hey, it's just kind of like your parents tell you, I'm not your friend. At least my parents said that. So in supervisor world, I'm not your friend. I'm here to guide you, mentor you, you know, give you the best environment, but I'm not going to sit here and be walked over. And I stepped into an environment where I didn't have a supervisor for months, like 6 or 7 months. And so, and that's not their fault. When you allow a group of people to basically go unsupervised for that long, of course they're not going to like rules. Who wants rules and regulation and a person looking at them? But to be fair, what they didn't know was I always just wanted to come into work and like not have to do much, do work for me, but I didn't really care what they did. They're adults, they're older than me. So in my mind, I was like, I don't really need to manage them at all, you know. And a lot of people hate the term micromanage, but I ended up having to micromanage because when I did it, we would get into so many issues, and it was just consistent. And it's even when I left being their supervisor, because I rotated, it kind of stayed that way for a long time. So I'm very happy though to have experienced that, because by doing certain things wrong, I learned career life lessons, which is to always document and have your ducks in a row, and don't just trust what people say, have it written down. But I just learned so much by basically pretty much killing myself working all those hours. So it was a hard lesson, but it landed me the exec job, and that's when I rotated to be a first lieutenant. So being exec was the best experience of my career so far. I loved being an exec. I got to work for 2 different commanders, completely 2 different people. One was very much hard charging and one was very much soft. loved by the people, soft-spoken, loved by the people, not soft. I love both of them for different things. At first, I was nervous with the hard charging one, and I was like, no, I don't want to be your exec, kind of, you know, and they were like, you don't have a choice, and I was like, okay. So I am so thankful, because not a lot of people get to experience that, but I'm so thankful that I did, because I learned administrative-wise how things should be. I learned what not to do. I made mistakes again and learned from those. You know, every single year I make a mistake and I learn from it, and that's just how life works. So they're not monumental mistakes, but you're always going to make a mistake or do something that wrong that you're like, oh, I should have done it this way. And it's not because, it's not that you do it wrong and you get in trouble. It's like, oh man, if I would have done this, it would have been so much easier. So my first lieutenant years, I really don't have much to say because it was just so much fun. I also got married being a first lieutenant, and it was amazing. So after I hit 2 years, or my last year of being a first lieutenant, I rotated to another position working in resource management operations, finance, money, manpower, making all the moves. It was so exhilarating, fast-paced. There's always taskers due, however, and I didn't like that, and I was always involved in everything, and I really did like that, because, you know, my other jobs, there's days where I'm like, okay, I don't have to be involved in that, but being where the money and the manpower is, it was constant emails and constant phone calls and constant meetings that I felt were just unnecessary. And that's the biggest thing that I hope, I don't know if they went away, but I hope the clinics have learned, especially. That's one of the biggest downsides of working in the clinic, is you're in so many meetings, and sometimes those meetings are meaningless. And I think the pandemic really shifted focus and really made people understand, like, okay, I don't need to be a meeting. Like, some meetings I would spend 2 hours in, and then it's like, oh, I'm expected to work. You know, I still have stuff I have to get done before I leave here, or else I'm behind for the whole week. And, you know, with Lewis, he didn't mind me coming home at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, or, you know, because mind you, I would go in at 7, so that's a full 12, or 8 o'clock sometimes, or midnight for closeout, or 1 a.m. for closeout. But now that I have 2 boys and I'm a mom, I'm definitely gonna be like, I'm going home. I'm gonna try and do my best, but it really takes on a new meaning now that I'm a mother, you know? So because of all of my hard work, being a second lieutenant and first lieutenant, you know, I won a lot of awards. One of the biggest, proudest awards I won throughout my short year career so far, which I never got anything for. I'm not sure if I was supposed to or not. I don't know. Usually you do get hardware for everything, so I really wanted something for that, but I never got it, so I don't know. Was basically my Blacks in Government Meritorious Service Award. I won it for our command, and it was so awesome because I had worked so hard for our Black History Month. I worked hard to bring back our Black, what was it called? I don't even know what the situation is called anymore, but I worked really, really hard. And you know, it would have been awesome to finally get, because they have like CGO of the year or Company Grade Officer of the Year. I never got to win that just because people, I never even got nominated, because people always, when you're a lieutenant, captains are usually gonna win over you more than likely, just because there's more stuff, they're more seasoned. So I never got to make it to the of the year level, but I had so much stuff, and I left. This past year would have been the perfect year for me, or 2020 would have been the perfect year for me to submit that and probably potentially win. I probably would have gotten close, like out of the whole base, but because I PCS'd, I was no longer able to do so. So all of that work just went down. It didn't go down, it went to my records, my officer performance records, but it just kind of like, I've been working for this moment since I was a butter bar. So, you know, hopefully one day I get to win CGO of the Year. If not, it's okay. For me, awards are not everything. There's something, and that's why I say I'm really proud of the Blacks in Government one. It's called the Big Award, because I work so hard and diversity means so much to me. Like, I'm always speaking about it. I've been asked to do panels even while I've been here. At my AFOQT assignment, people will call me and say, hey, my base is having a panel. We really would like for you to sit on it. And I would sit on it and give my honest opinion. So I really enjoy doing stuff like that. Like, that brings me so much joy, because I feel like I have this platform and there's some little black girl at home potentially watching me, or maybe, you know, in 5 years she'll find what YouTube is and she'll be like, oh my gosh, there's this girl I want to be like. And, you know, that brings almost tears to my eyes. Uh-oh, baby crying. After doing that and kind of PCSing, I got to do my first PCS as a married woman, as a dependent. Lewis got his first taste, and we trucked it all the way across from Montana to the DC area, and that has just been amazing. We love living here. It is quite pricey compared to Montana. Things move a lot faster, which we're used to. I mean, there's just so much to do, but I really believe God orchestrated this whole thing. You know, I was able to get pregnant with the twins, have them safely, even though I almost lost my life and my uterus, but I was able to have them, you know, safe and sound. My doctor delivered them, and he's amazing. He PCS'd in Japan though, so maybe I'll follow him. No, just kidding. That'd be so cool though. Anyways, so yeah, so it's just been crazy as I look back. I've been a captain for already a year, and I feel like it's so cool, because I just, when I say like, oh yeah, I'm captain, blah blah blah, they're like, oh yeah, you're the girl with the YouTube and blah blah blah. So it's so cool to get recognized sometimes. It's also surreal to me that I'm a captain, because as a second lieutenant, I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take me forever to be a captain. And literally, people come in as captains or they come in as first lieutenants, but I'm gonna be biased, and I've heard this been said. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'd rather come in higher ranking so I can make money faster, blah, blah, blah. They're focused on the money. I get that. But when it comes to my record and the growth and what people see, they see from the very beginning as a second lieutenant all the way through now. So I have all of those OPRs, officer performance records. I have awards. I have track records, basically to cement my name and really make a name for myself. So I'm really proud of that. And you know, it wasn't easy. I have to definitely give a few shout outs to, first and foremost, God, for bringing me through everything, because there's some sanity times that I was like, I'm done. And it was just really me and Jesus in Montana until Lewis came. And my family, of course, especially my number one mentor, who I feel like I can call him, is my dad. I know that sounds really cliche, but like, he's the best chief that I know. He has the most impressive record that I know to this date, and he just never lets me down it with advice. In fact, he's a little bit more hard charging than me, but security forces people are just different than medical people. Medical people, you kind of gotta tread softly. You don't want to burn the bridge too quickly, or there's drama, at least in the experiences that I had in Montana. And then also Lewis for dealing with everything. I know it's really hard for, as an alpha male, for him to kind of pick up and move and go wherever I go. And you know, I know he has his dreams and careers that he's kind of in the midst of pursuing right now. But yeah, he's been great as well. But I just want to thank you guys, of course, last but not least, my YouTube channel. When I went to officer training school, I had 300 subscribers, and that was roughly 5 years ago. And now I have almost 10,000. Now I know you see other YouTube channels and they're like, oh, in 5 years or 2 years or 1 year I grew to 100,000. I've been doing YouTube for so long, and there's been some inconsistencies, I will admit, but you guys never have to worry about me turning into someone that you don't quote unquote recognize, or the fame has changed me. It's not. I'm always going to be myself authentically, and I've understood that assignment for myself, because there are many people who will do things for views, counts, likes, clout, attention. We see TikTokers doing stuff like that, and people on Instagram stunting, and you know, I just don't believe in that. I believe in being your authentic self. I think slow and steady wins the race, because you know, at the end of the day, it's really not about the coin for me, even though it's nice. And of course I want to grow my channel and do more things, and I do want to put more back. Last year was supposed to be me kind of rebooting my channel, refocusing it and putting a lot more work into it. But then I got pregnant and the rest is history. But I am proud of myself because I have never ever done things just to do them. I don't clickbait, I don't do any of that. So it would mean a lot to me if you're new here, or if you're stumbling across, or you know, if you have always been stalking me but don't subscribe. I know for me personally, it takes me, I watch people for a little bit and then I subscribe, so I totally understand. But it would be really cool if you subscribe to me and help me out. And especially I do everything for my family, so that would mean a lot to me. So don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, I know the last part that I always like to reflect on when I do these kind of updates of videos is kind of checking in with, you know, Veronica, do you still find it as a career? Do you want to get out? Blah, blah, blah. You know, I wouldn't just admit that out here until I put some action into it of what I want to do. But definitely, for sure, I'm going to be continuing on my journey. You know, I graduate summer of 22, and then it's off to another base or area. Who knows? I might stay in the area, I might go somewhere else. I don't know yet, but we'll be finding out that very soon. Not soon, but I'll be submitting what I would like very soon. So that's crazy to me. But yeah, the school, the AFOQT that I'm in now has just been amazing. I kind of already touched on that in a previous video, so I'm not going to re-harp on it, but I love where I'm at right now, and this has just been an amazing experience. So Veronica, you did it. You made it 5 years. It was a lot. So you got another 5 years to go. No, I'm kidding. You got a lot. 15 years to go for retirement if you want to stay then. Another 5 years to qualify for some extra stuff if you want to cut at the 10-year mark. So keep doing you, beautiful. You look great. This is just me talking to myself. Okay, I'm gonna go, guys. Bye. And if I wasn't in focus at all, it's because of this Canon camera that I'm switching out for my new Sony.